Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? Joey Shirkenbach is back here with another video for you guys. And guys, we are here to talk about the latest move that was made by the Baltimore Ravens, signing offensive tackle, I'll call it, Alejandro Villanueva, free agent from the Steelers. Of course, we are going to move him over to right tackle because Stanley is our franchise left tackle. So, as I said in the last video, no surprise here. We were essentially guaranteed to sign either Dennis Kelly or Villanueva because we literally had needed an emergency. Like, we literally had no right tackle. And yeah, we could maybe use Tyree Phillips, but he's not even that good. And we may want to put him at guard. And if Phillips gets hurt, we are really screwed. So we definitely needed a right tackle, and we did that. And as I mentioned, I definitely preferred Kelly, so I'm a bit disappointed in this move. But again, as I just mentioned, it was like essentially an emergency to get a right tackle, and we did, so I can't totally complain. And again, this is Twitter, and I understand like when players sign, other teams, especially the teams that the player was already on, they trash him on how bad he was. So of course Steelers fans talk about how bad he was, and of course that's going to be biased. But last year, looking at some of his film, he really had a rough year. I don't know what happened to him because I always remember him being a very high-quality left tackle. And again, it's going to be his first year moving to right tackle. I think he's always been a left tackle, so that's another thing. Now, it's not like that's going to be an issue. I don't think it will be. I mean, he knows he's moving to right tackle. He seems perfectly fine with it, so it's not going to be like Orlando Brown 2.0. But that's not the issue. However, looking at his film, he really had a hard time last year. Battling edge rushers, he lost a lot of the matchups. He had some really bad games. He had some good games too, but his run blocking is also kind of an issue. So I'm not thrilled with this move. But again, a move is a move, and we develop offensive linemen really well. I know this is a free agent. It's not a rookie, but I do think we could still maybe squeeze out a couple more years of him. He's definitely towards the end of his career. I mean, linemen don't usually last that long. He's in his, I want to say, upper 20s, low 30s. That may not seem old, but for a lineman, it kind of is. So, it's probably not going to cover us for long. Another thing that I don't really understand, we signed him to a 2-year deal. Don't really think that was the right move because I think what we should have done was sign Kelly or Villanueva to a 1-year deal, have them cover us for the year, and then just cut them, or I guess if they're a free agent, you're not cutting, let them go next year, and then draft. I don't totally understand why we signed him to a 2-year deal. I mean, again, we can always trade him or cut him if he's bad, but I don't really understand why we did him for 2 years, because if we run into that scenario where he's kind of trashed next year and we need to replace him, now we have to trade him, and will any team really want him when he's aging like that? I don't really know. So the 2-year deal, I don't really understand. But at the same time, we didn't overpay for him. I think it was like a 2-year, $14 million deal, so like $7 to $8 million a year. That's not bad at all. I'll take that. I just really hope he can bounce back, because last year he definitely had a down year. But to be fair, besides last year, he is very good. I mean, he's been, again, high quality, even elite for several years at the left tackle position. So maybe we can turn the tide after him having a rough year last year. I do trust our coaching. Our coaching is almost always good. I mean, yes, our offensive line was garbage last year, but it was lacking the talent big time. I mean, Stanley got hurt early, and besides Brown, we really didn't have a lot to work with. And I do think it'll be upgraded this year. I mean, it already is. It's definitely going to be better this year. Because, of course, Stanley goes back to left tackle. I think Ben Cleveland's going to win the left guard job. Again, you never know. He could totally underperform. Bozeman, right now, the plan is to move him to center. Then we got Kevin Zeit. They're probably our second-best lineman as a right guard, and then now it's going to be Villanueva at the right tackle. So, assuming everyone stays healthy, that is looking like a pretty good offensive line. It has to be better than last year. I mean, last year, it was definitely below average, but it was just not clutch in the least. When we really needed it to come up clutch, it was absolute trash. I mean, that was just a nightmare against Buffalo, and it gave up too many sacks. I mean, run blocking, it wasn't great. But pass blocking was the biggest issue. I thought our pass blocking was awful last year. And you may say, oh, well, they didn't give up too many sacks. First of all, I think we did kind of give up a fair amount of sacks, but that's also because we had Lamar Jackson, one of the most elusive players, not quarterbacks, players in the league. And if we don't have Lamar Jackson, we would have been like bottom 10, I think, in amount of sacks let up. But Jackson just eludes so many of them. So back to what I was saying, pass blocking especially really needs to be improved, and we definitely made some dents in that. Kevin Zeitler, I think it's very good at both. Villanueva is actually more of a pass blocker than a run blocker. So at the same time, I'm not thrilled with that because we are a run-first team, but at the same time, with the exception of Jackson keeping it, we run a lot of inside runs, a lot of dives, some stretches, but I don't think it'll be too big of an issue. If it truly is, I mean, I'm sure we'll know what to do. But again, we fixed the emergency. It's no longer a huge hole, but I am still a bit anxious. Are we going to sign a pass rusher now? So I've checked with, I've tried to find as many rumors that I could that are decently reliable. It looks like we're talking to Justin Houston right now. It's not like we blew him off. We're definitely discussing with him, and we're interested, which is always nice. But we're having a hard time figuring out an asking price. And almost always, especially with the Ravens, they will not cave into him. Unless they really, really like the player, they're not going to cave into them. So what I'm worried about is they'll just say, Houston and the Ravens will just say, forget it, we're not going to sign you because we just can't agree. That's what I'm worried about. So I really hope that doesn't happen, but we don't have too much cap space left, or money, I should say, and I guess Houston is asking for a fair amount, but I absolutely think we should sign him or Ingram. We need veteran presence. We only drafted one edge rusher. We absolutely need more veteran presence there. And yeah, you would say McPhee's a veteran, okay, but he's not really that good, and he's primarily a run defender. We need someone who can get after the quarterback as well. And, you know, again, Odafe Owe, I know his sack numbers aren't there. He could be really good. I know we can develop edge rushers, but still, you never know what's going to happen, and we definitely need someone alongside of him, and someone who can get to the quarterback 5 to 8 times a year. McPhee can't do that anymore. He's great against the run. He can get a couple sacks, but he's not going to be our long-term number one pass rusher. So definitely hope we're able to sign Houston or Ingram. I think Houston's more likely because we're actually just not negotiating with him. Ingram, I don't think we've even expressed interest in, so I'm not going to hold my breath for that. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. I wanted to let you guys know, in case you didn't, the NFL schedule, which I'm actually really looking forward to, officially comes out Wednesday. Is it, let me do a little math here. Today's the 8th, so it's the 9th, 10th, 11th, May 12th. Wednesday, I think 8 p.m. is when the NFL schedule gets released. The full schedule, all teams, the dates, the times, the games. Of course, these can be modified and flexed. Games will get flexed week to week, obviously. But that is the tentative schedule for right now. I am really looking forward to that. I remember being excited for it last year. Like, who do we play first? What time? And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big fan of our 4:25 games, to be honest, on Sundays. Because, like, it gives me a lot of time to, like, do stuff during the day. And then I can just settle in and be lazy late in the afternoon. So, I really hope we have more 4:25 games. We only had one last year. It was week 2 against Houston, so I really hope we have more 4:25 games. I would go out on a limb and say that we will have more late games because we're playing the AFC West this year. And with the exception of the Chiefs, actually, I guess, and the Broncos, the Chargers and Raiders are both on the West Coast, and Raiders are on the road, and Chargers are at home. So that'll probably just be a 1 o'clock game or prime time. But regardless, because we play on the road on the West Coast, we won't be playing the Raiders on the road at 1 o'clock because that's 10 a.m. their time. And the home team, they get the preferred time zone. So that will likely be a 4:05, 4:25 game, again, unless it's prime time. So to my point, I do think we will have a little bit more late games this year because we're playing the AFC West, so the time zones are a bit different. So I do think we'll have some late games, and I really hope we do. I'm a big fan of those. And of course, we can have some 1 o'clock games, but when it's every time at 1 o'clock, it gets a little boring. So, guys, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I am out. Peace out. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Go Ravens, and I will see you guys when the Ravens make their next move, and probably next weekend to discuss the official release of the 2021 NFL schedule.